Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Cincinnati Business Courier. Do street parties and fireworks warrant emergency action by the city? Why some say City Council is spending too much time on emergency ordinances. The EPA says a St. Bernard landfill closed in the 70s is producing methane. We'll tell you how neighbors are responding. And how much would you pay for a dozen cookies? These designer shortbreads are reaching a national audience and producing lots of dough for a local company. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Dan Carroll. On the front page of the Business Courier this week, what constitutes the need for an emergency ordinance in the city of Cincinnati? The practice has recently come under scrutiny after City Council approved a notwithstanding ordinance to allow the City Gospel Mission homeless shelter to move here into industrial Queensgate. That action brought on a lawsuit from nearby businesses to stop the move. Supporters of emergency ordinances say it's a common practice all over Ohio because it's often the most efficient way to get things done. But critics say the city's use of emergency ordinances is a way of limiting public debate and has become far too common. In the city of Cincinnati, nearly 75% of all ordinances, 254 out of 339 passed by the City Council over the past year, were emergencies. The reasons vary widely. Some were passed to meet deadlines so the city could accept grants, seal economic development deals, or pay employees. Others were to allow street fairs, fireworks, and archery demonstrations. Vice Mayor Roxanne Paul says since 2008, the city has tried to use emergency ordinances less frequently. She says, though, it's a legitimate tool that should be available, but it shouldn't become standard procedure just because someone didn't get their work done on time. Business Courier reporter Lucy May wrote this story, and she joins editor Rob Dahlmeyer now with more.
Thanks, Dan. Lucy, you talked to a lot of people this week about this story. What did you find out about really why the City Council has gone so far over to emergency ordinances? 75% is a giant number.
There are lots of different reasons that these ordinances are used. Typically, they're used in conjunction with another legislative maneuver where council skips the 3 readings that state law requires for ordinances. That means these things pass a lot more quickly. So instead of taking 3 weeks for a measure to go through the various council committees and organizations, they can do it in one meeting, essentially. When an ordinance is passed as an emergency, that means as soon as the mayor signs it, it becomes law. So it doesn't have to wait the 30 days that a typical ordinance has to wait, and it's not subject to referendum. So if citizens decide they don't like the measure City Hall passed, they can't gather signatures to try to have a referendum. They do this because sometimes they're under deadlines just to get things done. They say it's more efficient to get things done, but critics say they've kind of gone too far.
And what is the impact on a business or just an average person when the city does this?
Well, if they combine it with this skipping the 3 readings, which is typically the practice, it can limit debate. So critics of this say, hey, these are sometimes pretty important measures. We don't have as much time to discuss this. There's not as much debate, and citizens can find out kind of late in the process that these ordinances are even coming before City Council, limiting the amount of time they can really study it, figure out the impact it's going to have on them, limiting the impact that business people can figure out these things are going to have on their businesses.
Right. Great story. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Dan, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Also, on the front page, a class action lawsuit filed by 17 property owners on Bank Avenue in St. Bernard. The suit alleges the village is endangering their homes with a landfill that lies beneath Ludlow Park and next door to their properties. The landfill closed in the 1970s, but it continues to produce methane. According to tests conducted this month by the Ohio EPA, the landfill could be sending gas and chemicals into nearby homes and yards.
Everybody in the whole subdivision is upset, not only the 6 residences that border the landfill. We hope that the city steps up and they do the right thing. They obviously, we're thinking, did not do this intentfully, but the problem is here. It's not going to go away. It has to be resolved the right way.
Now, the village insists that the neighborhood is safe, and the Ohio Health Department affirmed that last year. But the latest round of soil testing found potentially explosive levels of methane. Greg Ziegler's property appraiser has told him that the landfill controversy would force him to take a 75% discount if he sold his 3-bedroom house today. Joseph Auto Group has filed a suit against a Columbus-based dealer claiming it's undermining Joseph's newly acquired Cadillac business. In May, Joseph agreed to acquire the rights for a Dublin Cadillac dealership from Columbus-based Germain Motor Company. But between reaching the agreement and closing the $2.4 million deal in August, Joseph Auto alleges that Germain violated the terms of the agreement. The alleged violations include soliciting customers for Germain's Cadillac dealership across town at Easton, withholding customer information, and blocking potential employees. The suit claims breach of contract, unjust enrichment, fraud, deceptive trade practices, and misappropriation, and is seeking more than $25,000 in damages. The company buying Pringles from Procter & Gamble is looking for Cincinnati office space to house P&G employees who will continue to run the business. P&G's 1,600 Pringle employees include about 150 in Cincinnati. San Francisco-based Diamond Foods bought Pringles. Now, they won't say how many current employees will join the company or how much office space is needed. A spokesperson says the company is looking at multiple locations for permanent spaces. Diamond Food expects to close the deal for Pringles by mid-December. A former P&G'er is crediting the company with giving him the business idea and management skills to start his own business. Mind Maze Service is a residential cleaning company that was inspired by P&G's approach to commercial cleaning. Derek Christian is trying to establish a national training program to elevate standards in residential cleaning. In 1999, he worked on an initiative with Mr. Clean and the O'Connell Lodge hotel chain to train housekeepers and certify the cleanliness of its 700 hotels. Well, the campaign never panned out for P&G, but Christian is now promoting a similar concept.
When I was at Procter & Gamble, they taught me a lot about targeted marketing. In my industry, most people advertise that they do all things to all people. And one of the things we caught on is much better to focus on a couple specific customer segments, people with new babies, people with pets, and young urban apartment dwellers, and to market specifically to those segments as opposed to generic advertising.
The 4-year-old company is based in Lebanon and has 85 employees in 2 states. MyMade is on pace for $2 million in 2011 revenue. A Northside-based cookie maker who started baking in her basement in 2009 has landed a spot on one of the premier websites for gourmet retailers, Sur La Table. Queen City Cookies is expecting the relationship with Sur La Table to result in a 25% increase in business this year. The company did about $2,000 in sales its first Christmas of 2009. Last Christmas, sales hit $70,000. Founder and owner Peggy Shannon does not plan to limit her national reach to Sur La Table.
We're working really quite diligently in being able to be in every Kroger in America, so I'm hopeful that that works both as private label and as Queen City Cookies.
Well, Queen City Cookies is providing Sur La Table with exclusive designs for shortbread cookies called Queen's Iced Delights. The cookies include hand-imprinted icing using special cookie molds, and they're priced at $66 a dozen. Contrary to popular belief, banks are lending money, at least when it comes to Small Business Administration or SBA loans. Total SBA loans in the 4-county Southwest Ohio area soared 31% to 477 during the federal fiscal year that ended September 30th. The dollar amount is up 55% to $119 million. Some of that increase came as a result of changes at the SBA that they made the last fiscal year, including raising the loan limit on certain programs, waiving some fees, and raising its guarantee level. Huntington Bank, already the biggest local SBA lender, doubled its local loans over the past year to $19.4 million. Huntington even hired more bankers to support its SBA lending. So, when and why is an SBA loan appropriate. Dan McCabe and his partners had the help of an SBA loan when they opened Motor on Main Street in Over the Rhine in 2010. Motor is a live music venue with performances 7 nights a week and dinner every night and Sunday brunch. Dan is in the studio with U.S. Bank Business Watch's Kelly Leon.
Thanks, Dan. And Dan, thanks for being here. Why an SBA loan when you first opened Motor?
We reached out to some people we knew at HCDC, a certified development company, who wields these SBA loans. So after presenting our concept, our business plan, operation agreement, all the things that said we're serious, they helped us connect with Huntington Bank, and we were able to learn more about this SBA program through them.
And was it a good experience for you? Is it something you would recommend to others?
Absolutely. You know, this is our first venture, and to have a group like Andrew Young and HCDC to help us pioneer through, through the paperwork and steer us through the SBA program, it was very nice and quick too. We were able. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how quick these things go, but within 3 months' time, we were able to process it.
So it sounds like a process that's not too overwhelming for a small business owner that's just kind of reaching out and trying to figure this out.
There's a lot of support and infrastructure that comes with the SBA loan.
And how's your business doing?
We're in Over the Rhine, and we're doing great. It's been a year now, and we're feeling pretty smart for landing ourselves here in Over the Rhine, and the community has embraced us. Cincinnati has a strong local music scene, so that's what we've pinned our hats on.
That's great. And I don't know how, I don't know the statistics, but for a small local business to survive after a year, you're feeling like you're in good shape. And
yes, that's what they tell you. You walk into this, everybody's, the first year's the big scary year, but yeah, we're feeling very, very strong.
Great. All right. Good luck to you and your business, and thanks for being here. Dan, back to you.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, another restaurant is now open at the banks. And beer drinkers, we have news for you, a new development regarding the arrival of Yuengling to the tri-state. Some news you may have missed if you're not reading the Business Courier online every day. Johnny Rockets celebrating its grand opening at the Banks on Thursday. The restaurant chain revealed new menu items that'll be exclusive to Cincinnati. The event also featured, well, some dancing there. They had giveaways, sampling, and specials, and a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The Johnny Rockets location in Newport-on-the-Levee is closing. It'll be replaced by Five Guys Burgers and Fries. A new 100-room hotel is going to be built at Rising Star Casino Resort. It will be developed on the land currently owned by the casino. The project will create about 100 construction jobs and generate between 20 and 30 permanent jobs. Construction is expected to begin this December with an opening date scheduled for the end of 2012. If you are among the many eagerly anticipating the arrival of Yuengling beer, sit down. We got to break it to you. The brew has been delayed. The scheduled October 31st launch of the Pottsville, Pennsylvania beer in Southwest Ohio is being pushed back just a couple of weeks because of higher than expected demand elsewhere in the state. Now, draft beer will still be available here on Monday, but bottles and cans of Yuengling, well, we're all going to have to wait until November 14th. Tomorrow is Halloween, and nearly 70% of Americans are going to be celebrating. That's according to the National Retail Federation. Halloween consumers spend money mostly on decorations, costumes, and candy. The group says total Halloween spending is expected to hit the $6.9 billion mark, or roughly $72.31 per person. That is up 19% from last year. In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, our focus is corporate earnings. U.S. Bank investment analyst Jim Russell is joining us with the bank's perspective. So, Jim, I guess it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago we talked about the start of the corporate earnings season for this quarter. What are you seeing so far?
Okay, so why is corporate earnings so important?
Why is it important?
The stock market over the long term follows corporate earnings. The higher those earnings streams go, Dan, generally the higher the stock market goes. Now, why is that important? I think everybody's exposed to the markets in one way or another. Maybe not through direct investments, but maybe through your 401k, maybe through your pension, through 529 plans. Other savings programs are important. Now, corporate earnings hit a peak in 2006, just as the economy was peaking, and has yet to rebound to that peak. We think this year of 2011 will indeed represent another peak in earnings for the S&P 500.
Okay, and I know you have a graphic for us, so let's go ahead and take a look at the graphic and see what that has. Here's the S&P. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Okay, what we see here is really a progression in the quarterly progression of earnings for the S&P 500. In the first quarter of 2011, we had 20% year-over-year earnings growth, decelerated to 19% in the second quarter. The third quarter, as you just mentioned, Dan, is being reported right now. 15% looks like that's going to be the growth rate. So you can see the stair stepping down from 20 to 19 to 15. Our estimates for the fourth quarter would indicate a 12.5% growth rate and a 7.5% growth rate for the first quarter. Now, as earnings do slow down, it does have implications for investors. Usually investors flock to larger cap equities, larger cap stocks, the Exxons, the Apples, the Home Depots of the world, and away from smaller cap stocks, and also they rotate toward growth stocks as well, as opposed to value stocks. So there are implications for a slowing growth rate.
So even though it's not usually the big headline or front page news, I mean, it is something that you know, that most investors want to pay attention to.
For nerds like me, it's very important stuff. This is the minutia we deal in, but it is a driver for the markets, and I think everybody should be maybe tuned in a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, eventually it does. It, you know, even filters down to regular people like me.
Important stuff.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Jim, thank you very much. Well, coming up on U.S. Bank Business Watch, we have a lot more for you. Two local companies are helping other businesses expand and prosper in China. We'll have that up next. In this week's Business Insight, doing business in China. The number of U.S. companies expanding operations in China continues to grow. And that's bringing up a number of challenges as American companies look to the East. Those challenges include high-profile issues such as intellectual property theft and quality control, to more routine concerns such as pricing strategies and employment practices. To help companies understand and tackle those issues, Frost Brown Todd, East West Associates, and Grant Thornton will sponsor a seminar this week called Optimizing Your Business in China 2011. Joe Daner with Frost Brown Todd and Eric Johnson with Grant Thornton join Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith with more.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, guys, for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Morning.
Morning. Eric, tell me why it makes a difference that all this expansion is going on. What difference does that make for a firm like Grant Thornton?
Well, it makes a difference, and it's important to us, Jamie, because our clients, quite honestly, are going over to China in an effort to expand their business and make themselves successful in this global market. So they need our help. They know they need our help, and we want to be there for them.
So does a lot of that help come before they go over there, obviously?
Ideally, it does. Ideally, there's a fair amount of advanced preparation to ensure that all of the right steps are taken to go there in the right way.
So if they didn't, they may need a lot more help after the fact, right?
That's right.
Joe, tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that a firm like Frost helps these companies with when they get over there.
Zhao Shenghao. You know what I say. I say
sure
good morning. Yeah, that's the first challenge. I understand what you're dealing with, right?
Exactly.
But let me start with the opportunities. There are 1.2 billion people, 1.2 billion people in China. That's 4 times the size of the United States population. Wow. Enormous effort. This is a country that in an unprecedented world history has grown 10% a year for over 30 years. Aren't we envious?
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a lot of people spending more, ready to buy products. U.S. exports are way up in double digits last year. You know, we read about stealing jobs and all this sort of, which is much overdone. It's an enormous opportunity. Most of the companies going over there are going over there not to ship stuff back to the United States, but to develop the demand that's, respond to the demand demand that's there in Asia. Okay. Caterpillar's opened plants there at the same time it's opening plants here. But the challenges are to do your homework, as Eric says, do it right, not make the stumbles. There are 30 years of experience of stumbles, which we'll be talking about. But you do it right, you hire the right people, you get the right location, and it's a great place to be for Asia.
That's great. Now, there's a lot of work that you guys are doing. Are you doing that work here, or do you guys have a lot of people going over there as well working with them?
We have Chinese lawyer on staff here.
Okay.
And we work with great Chinese law firms and other providers over there, but that kind of homework's done here by people who understand over the last 30-some years what's been happening over in China.
Nice. And I'm sure there's some unique challenges, you said, with the language and just those barriers, but then just the business in general.
Right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the seminar. I understand there's going to be some talk about 2 specific case studies. Can you just give us a kind of a bit or two on why it's important for Cincinnati business people to tune in or to come to this seminar?
Absolutely. Our focus on this seminar was to follow up a webcast that we conducted in July, where we discussed similar challenges and took questions from the participating audience, and we've taken those questions and built them into case studies. So these are designed to be real-life, actual, factual situations that our companies in Cincinnati have experienced in China, and how we can help them out. The first one really deals with a company, a health products manufacturer that has invested into China to trade, and now they want to expand into a manufacturer based on the demand from local customer base, et cetera. And the challenges that they face there, expanding their registered capital, labor cost increases, et cetera. The second one deals more with a company that is looking to conduct more R&D activity and wants to understand what the challenges are with IP protection and how to expand their role in that regard.
Okay, great. If this is, if I'm just wanting to go over there and start business, is this a good place for me to start, or is it too far beyond for me at that point?
No, it sure is. It's still a great place to start. It's as Joe mentioned, it's a thriving economy. It's a growing economy. And with a $1.2 billion or 2 billion person customer base, it's still viable for any company to go over there and expand.
A lot of the companies, they're small companies, but 10 million in sales here, they're ready for 20 million by moving to the rest of the world.
Great. All right, back to you, Dan.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Optimizing Your Business in China will be held Friday, November 4th at the Frost Brown Todd office in the Great American Tower. The program runs from 8 to 10 a.m., and if you want more information, email events@fbtlaw.com or call the number on your screen, 513-651-6146. Stay with Local 12 all morning long. CBS Sunday Morning is next, followed by Face the Nation at 10:30, and Local 12 Newsmakers with Dan Hurley at 11. This week, Dan is focusing on the streetcar issue. If issue 48 confuses you, you're not alone. Be sure and tune in to Newsmakers for both sides of the debate and some clarity to help you decide where you stand. That's Local Newsmakers right here at 11. Thanks so much again for watching us on U.S. Bank Business Watch. We'll be back next Sunday and every Sunday morning. I'm Dan Carroll. Have a great Sunday and happy Halloween.